okie dokie. So I read somewhere, Charles, that on Figure Skater you were supposedly channeling a slowed down Dolly Parton. Would you like to tell us more?
Yeah, I mean, if anyone's not heard it, it's someone's just put Dolly Parton at half speed on YouTube, and it's like a very magical thing, and you can kind of hear all the amazing guitar parts that I think Dolly's playing, and there's like different things in there that you just don't hear at full speed. And there's something in the acoustic guitar, so I was just spent ages just trying to figure out how to get that sound. So that's kind of where the song started, really. But this, I mean, it's nothing to do with the rest of the tune, but it was just a bit of a sound experiment. A bit of an inspiration in a way. And so, I mean, there might be a future in that for somebody else anyway, just getting tunes, slowing them down and picking the bones out of it. Yeah, it totally changes the vibe. I would encourage everyone to go and listen to it. It's beautiful. I have heard it, and it is amazing. I mean, it's just one of those mad things, isn't it? And so I think we mentioned this, actually, when you came on Gagging Order. But you sent me the cassette with your album on. Yes. Which was a very sweet thing to do. And nobody's ever done it before or since. And I'm hoping that one day somebody's going to send me a sports car with a cassette in the cassette player in the sports car. I'm talking the 60s kind of, you know, Porsche, something like that. Yeah. Using the same concept that you've just outlined, but in a car instead of a cassette recorder. What do you reckon? Well, Mark, I was thinking maybe CDR Toyota Corolla. It's maybe more my kind of vibe, you know what I mean? Yes, I would take that heartily, mate. Don't you worry. So the album is Yes, and when it came out a while ago. When did it come out? It came out in May. Right, okay. And we know the kind of delay in the industry at the moment, and that's just one of those things. But in the interim, you were telling me before that there's a tribute album to your album called Yup. Yeah, I don't know if I should be calling it a tribute album, but basically it's just a load of friends that have done covers of it, of songs off the record, and there's a few demos in there. So friends from all over the world, some people in New York, some people in LA, Cardiff. We've got Alice Lowe, Morgan Harper-Jones from Manchester. Right. And Fife Dangerfield did one as well. So yeah, it's that's going to be coming out towards the end of the year. Were there any versions on there that you really didn't like, that you'd like to just break it to him gently on air now? No, they're all fabulous and lovely. Right, okay, fair enough, yeah. So the soundtrack work that you've done in the past, so Feel Good. Yeah, which I did with Rob, who's on drums tonight. So we kind of we did 2 seasons of May's show, working on the music for that. That was a lot of fun, wasn't it? Yeah, a lot of fun. So, can you tell me, how does it differ, writing for soundtrack for, it was a Netflix series, wasn't it, to just your actual normal oeuvre, for want of a better phrase? There's something actually really lovely about just getting a piece of film and just kind of reacting to it, because you know, I mean, I definitely feel like when I sit down to write a song, I've got a groove that I go to, and you know, often try and get out of that, but sometimes you do just kind of do things out of habit. And when you write in for something like Picture, I feel like you have to do something different, and often people might send you something that's working for them, whether it's like a reference or a piece of music or something. So I feel like it's nice to just kind of sit down and work with a visual rather than just trying to like, it just feels like a different part of the brain to me. Yeah, because obviously if you're just sitting down and writing a song, when I say just, I mean I've written some terrible ones as well, but you have to wait for some kind of inspiration, don't you? But of course, if you're being prompted by something that's happening before you, then the muse doesn't have to necessarily drop straight away. You get inspired by what you're watching. Yeah, I feel like sometimes it's really obvious. Sometimes it's like, often it's just like the first thing, if you sit at a piano and you just pop the picture on, and sometimes something really obvious just happens, and then sometimes it just takes forever, and you kind of feel like you're doing something, but it's getting in the way of what's on the screen. And I feel like it's half the time it works all the time. Half the time it works all the time. Right, okay, I'll have to write that down and think about that one. And also you mentioned earlier on that Jamie T has sampled one of your tunes. He did, yeah. He sampled the song Now That I'm a River off the last record. So he turned it into a song called The Terror of Lambeth Love, which is on his new record, which is a lot of fun. It's nice to hear the song in a totally different context. I mean, I think unless you know that song really well, you probably wouldn't know, because he actually slowed that song down.
Funnily enough.
Yeah, so it's kind of a similar vibe. Like, he did some fun stuff with that.
Right, okay. Did you contribute to that at all, apart from obviously making the record in the first place? Because you know Jamie T a bit anyway, don't you?
I do a little bit, yeah. I mean, he was going to cover it at first, and I sent him all the chords and stuff, and then I sent him the stems, and he ended up he's a bit of a sampling whiz, and he just ended up kind of chopping it up and just doing something new with it. So I've short of just like giving him the stems, like it's Jamie doing all the chopping and changing in there.
Right, okay. Well, I am a fan of Jamie T. In fact, I interviewed him on this programme probably about 10 years ago, I would imagine. Now, before we get to the tour dates, which we've got in front of us here, you played recently with Surfing Magazines as well, who we heard just before you did your own tune.
Yeah, we did a show last week, and it's just loads of fun playing with those guys. It's we've done a lot of shows over the last few years, so we decided after the gig that we absolutely 100% will make another record very soon. Brilliant.
But you haven't got any more dates lined up then, I presume?
We haven't got anything lined up at the moment, but I think Fran might be working on some German dates in the new year, which I'm well into.
Well, if you want to do a warm-up session, you know where we are. Just saying.
So here.
So back to your tour then. The 15th of September, Sheffield, Sydney and Matilda. 16th, Manchester Gullivers. The 17th, Leeds Hyde Park Book Club. The 21st, Hamburg, Reaper Barn Festival, Be Steady. The 22nd, Southampton Heartbreakers. The 23rd, Brighton, Hope and Ruin. And the 24th of September, London, Oslo. That's a lot, is it?
Those are the ones.
Okay,
yeah.
brilliant.
And we're also joined by David Ellis, who's playing guitar tonight.
Fab.
He's going to be playing with us on tour.
Brilliant. Okay, all right then. So, Charles Watson, you've got one more song to do for us, and you are going to do Figure Skater, aren't you?
That's right.